When Conspiracy Cat started on YouTube, he took on a couple of wannabe scientists named Peter and Pete. He loved making videos on their claims that water is not made from oxygen and hydrogen. Well, get ready because I've stumbled on another one of their videos which makes a claim which is just as wild as that one. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a huge thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is a VPN service that makes online privacy protection easy and attainable, encrypting all internet traffic sent to and from your devices and ensuring that your IP address remains hidden to make sure no one can see what you do online. On top of that, they block ads, trackers, malwares, and phishing attempts, and unlike other VPN services, you can use it on as many devices as you like simultaneously. The internet knows so much about us. I spend 6 to 8 hours a day online doing the job I do. We really should care about our online data. And have you ever seen an ad or banner which brought to mind a feeling that someone was reading your mind or listening in on your conversations? Now that is how your online data is being used against you, and you can use Surfshark to become resistant to that type of targeted advertising. Click on the link in the description or go to surfshark.deal/SimonDan and use my code SimonDan to get a whopping 83% off and 3 months extra free. Right, back to today's video and a couple of guys called Peter and Pete who are doubting that carbon dioxide exists within air. I hope you've got some evidence, guys. Here we go.
Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is said to occur naturally as a trace gas in the Earth's atmosphere. But is this really the case?
Yes, it is. There are several ways to determine the constituents of our atmosphere. Air samples can be tested in laboratories, and more recently satellites can detect what's contained in the air directly below them using spectroscopy.
Well, in this video we'll perform a simple demonstration to find out.
You can be very intelligent and very good at what you do, and you can still be stupid.
Hi there, I'm Peter, and in this video we've got a great demonstration for you all about CO2. So first, let's start off with the conventional understanding of CO2.
If I were to keep this glass of water in the open air for some days, it will become acidic. Did you ask how? Air contains carbon dioxide, and this will dissolve in water to form carbonic acid.
Well, that does happen, but only a very small percentage of it will become carbonic acid. And the pH of the water is not changed that dramatically.
Carbon dioxide is an acidic gas that forms a solution of carbonic acid when saturated in water. Carbonic acid has a pH of 4.68. Mainstream science also tells us that bubbling CO2 through clear lime water will turn it cloudy.
Indeed, calcium carbonate is formed in the lime water, which gives us that cloudiness. A GCSE question in the making there.
So we have two definitive methods to detect the presence of CO2. We'll now bring together these two methods in one simple demonstration to see whether they can both detect CO2 in the atmosphere. The equipment we'll be using includes a digital pH meter, pH buffer solutions 4 and 7, an air pump and manifold, 2 pieces of plastic hosing, 2 glass jars, some lime water and some clean water, and a timer. A TDS meter will also come in handy to verify we're using very clean water indeed.
Okay, you've set your stall out, Peter, or is it Pete? Let's see how you do.
The first step is to connect the manifold to the pump using a length of hose. Next, cut 2 short lengths of hose to run from the manifold into the bottom of the glass jars. We have used the manifold to ensure the air from the pump is bubbled at the same rate into each jar. Next, we'll test the lime water to check that it is still active and will turn cloudy. We did this by blowing through a straw into lime water.
So they're happy that carbon dioxide exists and that we breathe it out. But they've not put 2 and 2 together to figure out that the carbon dioxide that we breathe out ends up in the air. Not too clever, these Pete's, are they?
Knowing that our lime water was okay, we syringed a certain amount into one glass jar. It might be an idea to label the jar with lime water to avoid confusing it with the clean water.
Well, you're very thorough if anything else, Peter/Pete, aren't you?
The other jar was filled with the same amount, but of clean water. We carried out a TDS meter reading to show the water was indeed clean. The reading was 21 parts per million. The next thing to do is calibrate the digital pH meter so we can take an accurate reading of the clean water both before and after the demonstration. In our demonstration we carried out a 2-point calibration using pH 4 and pH 7 buffer solutions. Once calibrated, the first pH reading of the clean water stabilised at 6.78.
A very standard result for clean water there.
After the calibration was complete, the tubes from the manifold were placed into each jar so the ends touched the bottoms and the pump was switched on. We let the process run for 90 minutes. If CO2 is a constituent of air, we should see the lime water turn cloudy and the clean water should become acidic. The pH level we recorded of 6.78 should decrease. Let's see what happens.
Have I missed something here? Are they just pumping the air from the atmosphere into those jars?
Well, as you might expect, we can clearly see the lime water has turned cloudy, indicating the presence of CO2.
Okay, so a result which shows that carbon dioxide is in the air. What's the catch here? Where are they going with this?
Now let's take a look at the pH reading of the clean water after having atmospheric air bubble through it for 90 minutes. We should expect a reading of around 4.68. Oh look, when we first placed the probe into the clean water the reading was 7.4.
Okay, in the grand scheme of things that is not a large increase, but I postulate here that the results you've obtained using this clean water is erroneous. Your TDS meter measured 21 parts per million of dissolved solids in that water. Now normal tap water is around 100 to 200 parts per million. Now that means there would have been very few ions in that water. And that means it would have been very difficult for that pH meter to get an accurate reading for the pH levels in the water. That's because the pH meter needs the ions in that water to react with in order to give a pH reading. Now because of this, I believe that the lime water section of your test should be the only result that you can say is correct.
Only to stabilise at 6.98.
Further proving my theory, which is actually ends up only being about 0.2 of an increase.
We should have been able to detect CO2 in both jars, but we didn't. CO2 could be detected in one jar, but not the other. My view is there is no CO2 naturally occurring in the atmosphere. Otherwise we would have seen a significant reduction of the clean water's pH value.
Hang on, Peter/Pete, whichever one you are. To come to that conclusion, surely you must have a negative result for both tests. One test showed the presence of carbon dioxide. You can't just ignore that result.
This is why we didn't produce carbonic acid. And maybe there is another reason for the lime water to turn cloudy, other than the presence of CO2.
Like what, Peter/Pete? Why don't you just tell us?
Perhaps the action of bubbling the lime water, the calcium hydroxide within it, came out of solution.
And this is the point where you come up with another experiment to test that hypothesis, rather than just make a bad guess.
But let us know what you think. Why do you think we never produced carbonic acid? What do you think made the lime water turn cloudy? And do you think CO2 naturally occurs in the atmosphere? What tests do you think we could have done to prove CO2 is in the atmosphere? Let us know in a comment below.
How about I put a link to this whole video in your comment section, Peter/Pete? How about that? And also, redo that test with the lime water and then afterwards add some hydrochloric acid. Because if calcium carbonate is present, it will bubble and fizz and produce carbon dioxide. Why don't you have a go at that, buddy, and then come back to us?
Oh, and just one last thing. If you don't trust our results, you're more than welcome to do the demonstration yourself. Be sure to let us know how you get on. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to like and subscribe and click that bell icon to receive notifications when new content is uploaded. Give us a thumbs down if you disliked it, but please tell us why. Until next time, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you later. Ta-da!
The Earth isn't round, it's flat.
How do you know?
I've observed it in all my travels over Europe. It's flat. Everywhere it's flat.
Now it makes sense. And just look at their outro screen. Dear oh dear, guys, what a mess. Well, there we go. What a Tinfoil Tuesday that was, everyone. How do you think Peter and Pete did? Let me know in the comments. But for now, we are all done and dusted for another Tinfoil Tuesday. Really enjoyed that one. Thank you so much for watching. It truly is appreciated. If you did enjoy it, please do consider subscribing to the channel. We're on the run for the 500,000 subscribers now. And if you really enjoyed it, hit the like button as well. And if the feeling takes you, why not share it too? Just enough time to once again thank Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Remember, visit surfshark.deal/SciManDan and use my code SciManDan to get a whopping 83% off and 3 months extra free. I've been SciManDan. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and I'll see you all on Friday for the return of Kyle Adams. See you then.